Greetings everyone and welcome! I'm AJ Barcet and you are in the Analog Explorer studio today. So I'm above water and off the mountain, and this video I'm going to kind of dovetail a little bit into digital side of things. So if you're like me and you're in the Watch fam and you've opened up Watchville in the last couple of weeks, you've probably gotten this notice. Now, Watchville was acquired by Hodinkee and originally built by Kevin Rose. And I've followed Kevin Rose since his earliest days when he was a tech entrepreneur that he launched Dig, and even follow him and Alex Albrecht during his days of Diggnation debauchery. Edward 40 Hands, may you rest in peace. Now I also remember when Kevin did an interview with aBlogToWatch, kind of announcing and showcasing this kind of side pet project of his called Watchville.
One morning, flipping between your blog and a couple others, and I'm like, why can't I have all this in one place? And for me, it's about creating the best possible mobile experience for people to be able to consume the content they want. You feel that certain things, and I'm sure this is why you created the blog, like you're lacking something, right? You're like, why isn't this being published? Why isn't this voice being heard?
And really back then, Kevin was right. He was onto something. Really, there wasn't a nice way for us to get the Watch News or Watch Enthusiast News or Horology beat in a central aggregate in a UI that actually was aesthetically pleasing. But fast forward, now that Watchville is being sunsetted, there actually is a couple of tools out there that will allow you to make your own personal Watchville and maybe even do it a little bit better. See, the one thing about Watchville that always drove me nuts is I was always limited to the feeds that were vetted and put in there. There was no way for me to add my own. Or, if I could use the analogy, build my own home in the suburbs of Watchville. And what I mean by that is, like, I love Tide and Time and Hodinkee and Worn and Wound, but I also like things like the Grey NATO or the Zulu Time podcast, and there was no way to add those feeds to my Watchville. So if you're watching this and you're wondering, is there a way for me to make my own Watchville but custom it out? The answer is yes, and I'm going to show you how. That way you can build your own home in your own personal Watchville. Add the feeds that you like, including me, the Analog Explorer. Let's take a look. So let's dissect the parts of Watchville that we like. For me, I like the card flow interface, I like the ability to be able to tap on an article, and to go directly to the source article. Let's use this Tide and Time article as an example. Alright, so, next phase. Now, to build your own custom home, you'll notice that on my screen I've got a widget and an app called Feedly. Now, Feedly is freemium. You can use it freely, and that's what I use. In full disclosure, they haven't endorsed me, and I use the free app. I don't pay for their add-ons. But you can tell, I already have a feed that looks a lot like Watchville. I've even named it Watchville. And you can see that I have 892 articles to read, and this is a personal feed. And these are using the feeds that I already got from what was in Watchville, plus some others, such as Watches TV, and then here is that same Tide and Time article. Now, one of the features I like about Feedly is kind of like the Kindle reading app. You're able to change the theme to black or white, you can adjust the size of the text, and you can even adjust the font and tailor it to your kind of readability. The other nice feature of setting up Feedly is that it's really easy. So I have a feed that I've called Watchville, and you can tell I've added Analog Explorer, Crown and Caliber, and Hodinkee, as well as things like Swimproof and Grey NATO. And you can tell at the bottom, you can just tap the button that says Add Content. And I was surprised that a lot of the bigger name sites, it was already there. I could just type in things like Hodinkee and it would find it. But for things like the smaller sites, like Analog Explorer or the Grey NATO, I had to put in the actual feed, the RSS feed of the site, which isn't horrible. Now, the last thing to go back to our Watchville reference is the look and feel. Now, you can tell I have mine in cards mode. By default, it'll show up like this. It's called magazine view, which is okay. But if we want to emulate what Watchville was, the cards view will actually make it look like that, again, top graphic with links to each of the articles. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you enjoy building your own custom home in Watchville. Now, I have a little bit of a shout out and an add-on to what I mentioned. You may have noticed on my iPhone I have three things. I have Feedly, the Feedly app, Watchville, and also a link. It's a link to this site called Watch Charts. Shout out to a friend of mine, Hamza. This site is really cool because if you're a watch collector, it gives you market insights on the different watches that you may have in your collection and kind of track the price of them or the price of an acquisition that you're looking to do. But the other cool thing is they've enabled their news view. So if you go to their site, The news view is actually almost a carbon copy of the same feeds that we're used to in Watchville. And so instead of building your own custom home, if you just wanted a prefab home ready to go and just turnkey, that would also be Watch Charts. Take a look at them as well. Thank you so much for supporting me and the Analog Explorer. You can find out more about me on my website, analogexplorer.com, or subscribe to me on Substack. Thank you so much, and I'll see you later.